Alright guys, had a long conversation with my mate, who's my ex-roommate, and he's also very worried about his family in his hometown. Now today I already made, this is my third video, coronavirus. Today I made the video on the 27th of January, so whatever's after the period of time, sorry for, it's outdated. So, but when me and my mate, we talk about this topic, we talk about because he's studying university, and one thing that I want him to talk about is, I told him about today. They have identified one or four students from Sydney University. Sydney University is pretty big, and he's one, and it's confirmed she has coronavirus, and she has tried to isolate herself from everyone in a student accommodation. Fair enough. But in that area, and I'm familiar, I don't know which student accommodation, so I gotta think on top of my head, alright? Now, in that area, my dad lives around that area, 2 kilometers away, and there's a shopping centre not far, which is a Broadway shopping centre, or she can go to the city, or she can go anything. You see, when the news article or government says, stay at home, come on, mate, you can't fool me, mate, telling me this and telling me that. Next week or next couple of weeks, it's just going to be back to university or back to high school, or back to primary school. On my previous video, I talked about actually, let's finish on that topic. And they say that she's isolating herself. She's coronavirus and things like that. And primary schools and high schools has announced that if you recently went to China, just recently got back from China, you need to have a doctor certificate claiming that you have clearance, medical clearance. Now, this is coming from high school and primary school. Now, university doesn't talk about anything because basically it's a money industry. International students like that person, or many Chinese students and international students, will spend double or triple the pay for their kids. Parents paid for the kids to go to university. Now, I'm very, very disappointed at university not announcing that, you gotta have medical clearance or X, Y, and Z. As a money industry, they will do anything as they can and to milk the industry. And very, very disappointed on that. And this is the reason why I said this sort of shit will get people spread, and they don't want to take an advantage on things like that. Now, when I look into it and ask myself, same as the banks, you own a mortgage or personal loan or credit card loan, do they honestly reckon they think about your coronavirus or Ebola or SARS or contagious disease such as gastro or conjunctivitis or anything contagious to human contact to another human contact? Hell no! All they care about is you signed that document. Okay, for mortgage, there's insurance, so you can have 2-3 months off if you call in sick or you lost your job. But, do they really care? Not really, honestly. If you work for cash in hand, you're screwed, to be honest. Obviously, if you work for tax, then, obviously it's alright. But not everyone, and, many of you guys know, people who goes in and out to China, I'm just saying for these recent weeks, are usually students try to visit families, try to visit their extended families, and also those who are business trips as well, coming in and out. As right now, China is currently in winter season, and Australia right now is summer, so can be business opportunity. Or elsewhere, other parts of the country, maybe Europe and Northern Hemisphere will want to do some business, some wholesale or things like that. You guys can't understand what I'm trying to say here. And yeah, so my mate, former roommate, who's very worried about his family. And, one day that he's gonna, the family's gonna get this symptom. And, I said to him, I said, look, in university, you try your best to think positive. I don't care how bad it is. Life sucks. You can't control. This news, sorry I farted, has been hidden, it's been bombarded in the worldwide global news. So this is not new. This is old. No, this is what's going on now. No matter how much money you're going to give your parents, will not save them. And I'll talk about people moving left and right later on. Right? And I told him, you know what? Focus on now. You in towards the end of your semester right now, because your college works differently, or your master degree. Focus on what you have. Don't focus on the news. Alright? Just focus on all the positive. Try to ace your exam, studies, and your assessment and things like that. That's a quick tip for any of those, any of the family members or friends in China. Just don't worry about it. Focus about yourself. Regardless if your parents caught the symptom or caught the virus or not, I'm pretty sure if they caught the virus or if they're in the hospital, the last thing they wanted to hear is son and daughter give up university because, such and such parents is in the hospital dying or close to dying. Right? I know it sounds really harsh for me to say this, but this is a global scale. This has been red alerted already. No matter what my mate's going to do, no matter how much money he's going to flash to everyone, it's not going to get him to save anywhere. It's just going to make him more headache, more stress on him. So what I told him, just, think of the future, that one day you are going to get married and things like that. And I know for me to say this to you, it sucks, but I'm pretty sure when your parents go up to the heaven, the last thing they wanted to see is my son give up study because I had this virus. And I know I sound so mean by saying this, but I said to him, mate, your family has spent so much tremendous amount of money for you to come to Melbourne and study. You've been studying here for 5-7 years. I don't know, I'm just dropping number 7 years apparently. And the last thing they wanted you to drop out your course or postpone your course to see their parents. Knowing that potentially your hometown can be in a lockout. Alright? You're not doing any favor. Just be a bit selfish. Think about your studies. Once you finish your studies, okay. Think about everything. I don't care. But during studies, focus on whatever you got to do. And you know what? That's what I said to him. It's like, think about, one day you're going to get married to the girl or whatever you want. Blah, 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 blah. And yeah. And, I told him a bit about that, And I told him, the last thing I told him is that, man, look at my mom. My mom wants to go back to China where her mom, so it's my grandma, just got out of the hospital. She stayed in the hospital for a long period of time and just got out, and maybe it's her last chance to pass away because it's winter. And my grandma has half stroke as well. And mom told me, her family would disown her if she doesn't go back to her country and visit her mother. If I can't control, and I told my friend, my mother so I'm putting my mother in the position saying that if you do go to this trip, you'll never, even if you do go into this town, the chances of you dying or being locked out and not able to fly back here is very, very high. So you get to choose. You go in knowing that you're putting yourself and your family into a position where they got to think about you possibly will get this virus or die from it. I'm not saying 100%, but they say that middle age to elder age, most of these people, a high percentage of them are dying. You know what? Everyone is varies, alright? It all depends on your immune system, alright? And I told my mate, I'm like, I can't even control my auntie and my dad as well. My dad wants to go back to China to fix his teeth. My auntie as well, fixing his teeth, going to China. They already bought tickets. My auntie, my mum already bought tickets. My dad's thinking of buying a ticket. But I'll talk about my auntie's going on February 11th. And she still want to go to China. Alright? And on my previous episode, part 2, I'll talk more about it. And I told them, if I can't even control my own mother or my auntie, What makes you think you could tell your own mother and your father not to go out? At the end of the day, people has to eat. At the end of the day, you got to buy groceries. At the end of the day, they got to do something. All right? So that's why I told him. I'm like, it sucks. But hey, if they choosing to go out, let it be. I'm not here to say anything. And I explained the whole thing. I wanted him to be positive. Thank God my hometown, Shantou, in Guangdong province, is partial lockdown. So even if my my family members wanting to go visit their hometown, no way. Even if they do get in, even if they bribe or find a way to get in, they can't go out. All right. And another one is I had a bit of joke with my mate. I'm like, let's just say me and him, or we have our own family. Because before I get into this topic, there's about 300,000 people who escaping Wuhan every single day to go to different province or first tier. So I said to him, if me and him, we're in Wuhan, and we're afraid, where do we run to? All right, I know right now it's a lockout, but let's just say no lockouts, all right? Let's just say before lockout, tomorrow's a lockout day, all right? And he stated that he'll run to the mountains. And he made a bloody good choice, mate. Gets a lot of food and grab our tents and we run to the mountains. Nobody wants to go to the mountains. But as a normal citizens, if they think about running, where they gotta go, if you close your eyes, you have to have your own family. Sorry, I have to fart again. Ah, God. They will run to first tier cities that has lots of hospitals or well-known hospitals, and will get there. For example, going to Shanghai or Beijing, a bigger city, a better facility, more facility and things like that, and more, better, I don't know, vaccines or masks or it's a lot more airborne free, bloodborne free. So it can be like that, all right? So that's what he said. Most people now. I'm not. No, he said that's what a lot of people are going there now. Now there's cases. They're running all the province around China now. Now they're stirring up, not only just global. So you have that on the side. So you start questioning yourself. He really denies everything what I said. I said, one who has, this sort of virus can spread up to 14 people. And he said, well, he can pretty much spread to many people because of, I think my girlfriend's going to come. Maybe after this video I'll talk about it. Let's see, is it turning? 3, 2, 1, no. So, knowing about this whole thing, and I hope this video is really, gosh, I can't even think more. Can I think more about it? Nothing much now. My mind's still free. Maybe next couple of days I'll probably make another video about this topic, and I could say many expats and the tourists, they will get out of China and try to find a way and make their way to go elsewhere. And Hong Kong is pretty much kicking everyone out. Alright, this is Mrs. calling. I definitely have to answer that. So yeah, anyways, see you next video.